Welcome to Minneapolis. In this video, we'll spend a weekend visiting the best sites in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. We'll see where Prince was discovered, walk through historic mansions, check out the state capitol, catch a baseball, walk over the Mississippi River, do the gritty at a football game, and we'll eat plenty of unhealthy food. And by the way, this video was filmed in September 2023. Our first stop is Minnehaha State Park. This area is 193 acres next to the Mississippi River and has a lot of open space to walk around and escape from the city. It's named after the famous Minnehaha Falls.
I feel like the Minnehaha Falls, there should be an emphasis on mini. What I've learned is that the Dakota tribe had called this the Minnehaha Falls, which means the laughing waters, which I thought was interesting because here we are with no falls, and now who is the one laughing? Not me.
I guess the falls are normally falls, but we happen to visit in the autumn when there isn't much water. We still had a nice time walking around the park, checking out the river and a few statues. All right, we're here in Minnehaha State Park, and I'm really proud of the guys in my group. They're all over there reading about the first settler of Minneapolis here. They're getting the history bug. This is a statue called Hiawatha in Minnehaha. It's based on Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's epic poem, The Song of Hiawatha. Minnehaha is a fictional character in his poem. She's inspired a lot of artwork, and many features are named after her all over the United States and even Canada. But interestingly, Longfellow never even visited the area. I learned that Minne in the Dakota language means water. Minnesota means land of clear blue water, a reference to the many lakes in the area. And today, one of the nicknames for Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes. If you visit the park, I recommend eating at Tipsy Steer right next to it. You are a legend for ordering those, man.
This is like Gouda fondue. Who doesn't love cheese?
Dude, that thing is insane.
Welcome to the 70s.
I mean, look at this. This is just
A tenderloin tip right here.
They advertise their food as sassy. Did it live up?
Definitely sassy. Without a doubt. As soon as you taste it, sass. Burger.
The bacon cheeseburger. It was fantastic.
All right, now let's go check out downtown Minneapolis. Minneapolis also has the Minne from the Dakota language, but it's combined with the Greek polis for city. Minneapolis is home to quite a few Fortune 500 companies, including Target. And you better believe Target has the market share around here. I'm not sure we even saw one Walmart around, but we saw several Target stores. Minneapolis has over 400,000 residents, all of whom are very pleasant people who know their sports teams are solid, but will not come through in the playoffs. Winning the big one just isn't a thing here. Did you know the introduction to the Mary Tyler Moore Show was filmed here? Have you even heard of the Mary Tyler Moore Show? I didn't really know that the show took place here in Minneapolis because the show predates me. I have seen the show and I really like it. So this is the corner where she throws her hat in the air in that opening scene there. One thing I learned is that Minneapolis has been a breeding ground for music bands. I'm not a big audiophile, but we stopped at the famous nightclub called First Avenue and 7th Street, which is located on 10th Street. Just kidding. Outside is the Star Wall, a display of all the famous bands who have performed here. This is where Prince was discovered, and apparently a bunch of other bands have played here. I'm just learning about this.
So, I mean, this is kind of a who's who Hall of Fame wall of rock legends, and most of them played here before they became popular. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Metallica, all played here.
So this is a place to get discovered.
Yeah.
Ben Harper, Strokes.
It just seems like there's too many good people that have played here. Like, almost like they might be fibbing a couple of these names.
Prince, who is from Minneapolis, also performed here. There's a really large mural of him nearby. I like me some Little Red Corvette, but I've never really understood the appeal of Prince, so I had to read up on him a little bit. I found out he started the subgenre called Minneapolis Sound in the 1980s, which heavily influenced a lot of pop and R&B over the next 20 years. If you're a fan of Prince or pop music in general, stop by here to check it out and try to catch a show here if possible. Just take a look at some of the famous bands who have played here. Which of these are your favorite? All right, favorite band that was on the wall.
Metallica.
Wilco.
Weezer. Foo Fighters.
Okay, nobody Prince?
Nope.
Come on. Our next stop is the Basilica of St. Mary. This was the first basilica in the United States, which surprised me quite a bit. I would have thought Maryland might have had that claim. It's got a variety of architectural styles going on here with Greek, Roman, and Baroque, none of which I could point out to you if I had to.
We're the only ones in here. Really a spectacular building.
This is something you'd expect to see in Europe. The stained glass has scenes from the Bible and is really impressive. The amazing main altar is made of white marble and is surrounded by statues.
Just unbelievable craftsmanship. All the stained glasses, the arches, everything.
All right, thoughts on the basilica here?
That was the best basilica I've ever been to. The only
Have
one. But it was legit awesome.
No, yeah,
inside.
it was like all of the craftsmanship and stuff. I mean, they had statues and stained glass windows everywhere.
I'll give it up to the Catholic Church. Like, that is legit.
Yeah.
That is a cool building.
It's good stuff, man.
When I walked in there, I was the only person in there. I got angels and demons vibes. Like, it was a little creepy, but amazingly beautiful at the same time, if that makes sense.
Nearby is the Minneapolis Sculpture Park, one of the largest urban sculpture parks in the country. It has over 40 works of art, including this 25-foot tall blue rooster. Okay, we are now in the Sculpture Garden, which has tons of just kind of modern art statues and things like this gigantic blue rooster. This is the most famous sculpture called Spoon Bridge and Cherry, completed in 1988. And was one of the first in the park. The cherry is 9 feet in diameter and sprays water. It's the focal point of the park and has become an icon in Minneapolis. Okay, this is the James Hill house. James Hill is incredible, like magnate guy, railroad magnate guy, built the Great Northern Railroad. This is an interesting historical site. James Hill was a major railroad tycoon during the age of the robber barons like Vanderbilt and Carnegie. He owned the Great Northern Railway that connected the Great Lakes to the Pacific Ocean. Unlike the other rail lines, he didn't accept government grants. Instead, he invested in the communities along the route because their success meant his success. For this, he earned the nickname the Empire Builder. The staircase is actually very similar to the Stanley Hotel. This is a big fancy home. Intricate wood carving here. This is just all over the mansion.
That's actually pure gold leaf on the ceiling.
Eventually, the other rail lines went bankrupt and he bought them out with his privately financed rail line, a major success of capitalism. Worth it?
Oh yeah.
I think that's the coolest thing I've seen in Minneapolis so far.
Really?
I think that beats the Basilica. Yeah. But I work in construction, so this is kind of my jam. So I like this kind of stuff. The tour, I would rate an 8. But the actual like house itself, a 12. It's remarkable. It's unbelievable.
It's pretty impressive. It really is. For the period of time to be able to build something like that, awesome.
Okay, how about you, Corey? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Speechless.
This kind of strikes my interest because last year I stayed in Glacier National Park at 2 lodges that were built by James Hill and the Great Northern Railway. The Great Northern Railroad goes through Glacier, or at least right next to it and right around it. And so you see a lot of signs for the Great Northern Railway when you visit Glacier National Park. In fact, it was the Great Northern Railway that really built the park. It was James Hill's son, Louis Hill, who took that on as kind of a passion project. And so like all the hotels, the famous hotels and chalets and all that in Glacier National Park, built by James Hill's son, Louis Hill, and the Great Northern Railway. So kind of a cool connection to make here in Minneapolis. Today, you can still ride the original route on the Amtrak train called the Empire Builder and stay in one of the original lodges built by the Great Northern. So I have a small personal goal to visit all the state capitals in the country. I'm sure it's never going to happen. I'm probably not going to get to all 50 states, but if I am in a capital city, I like to go visit the Capitol building. They're all fairly similar from what I've seen. They all kind of are modeled on the U.S. Capitol building, but still each kind of has their own little touch. And looks really ornate, so I'm kind of excited to go see it. Let's go check it out. Pretty much the only room you need to see in these Capitol buildings is the rotunda. I like this one a lot because it's colorful. I'm not sure what the stone is, but the stone is somewhat colorful there, and then you have just a lot of decorations that are very colorful, and the dome and all that. Okay, so I just learned that Minnesota is the North Star state. I had no idea. And then as you come up here, there are these paintings that are, I guess, allegorical paintings called the Civilization of the Northwest, I think. I learned that the dome is quite famous among people who are into architecture. It's one of the largest in the U.S., and it is marble, which is unusual. It's also self-supported with no internal supports like columns, making it even more unusual. The golden 4-horse chariot outside was created by Daniel Chester French, who also created the Lincoln Memorial. So I had to come over here alone because the guys would only indulge me so much in my nerdiness. We went to the James Hill Mansion earlier, and they didn't want to come over here to the state capitol with me, so they've gone off to the game. I'm here alone checking out the Capitol. Up there, this is kind of interesting. There are 4 horses pulling a chariot, and it's just recently been regilded in gold, and it's called the Progress of the State. Unfortunately, I can't get very close to it because you can only do that on a tour, and I don't think I have the time for a tour right now. I have to get over to the Twins game. Okay, from the Capitol building here, you can see St. Paul there in the distance, and then over on this side, the Cathedral of St. Paul out there, which is just massive. We're wondering if it's bigger than the Basilica of St. Mary's that we saw yesterday. It's always my favorite sight on a trip, the baseball stadium. The Minnesota Twins have a proud history as the only major sports team from Minnesota to have won a title. Kirby, my man, Kirby, love that guy. Kirby was on the last title team, hitting a famous Game 6 game-winning home run. The Twins play at, of course, Target Field, while their basketball neighbors, the Timberwolves, play at Target Center. Oh, baby, yeah, right. We typically walk around the entire stadium and grab some food before taking our seat. This is a relatively new ballpark that replaced a dome stadium with a non-dome stadium in a cold weather city. Fans still show up in October, however, and the playing field itself is heated. So happy I found the home run ball from the 1991 World Series with Kirby Puckett. Hit a homer in extra innings along with the jersey. This is so cool. I've been to a lot of baseball games in my life, but I've never caught a foul ball. I still haven't, but during this game, my buddy Mike got one.
Yeah, man, I'll just be like this. I'll just hold it to the ring now.
Dude, let's see it. Ball, baby. First time in 4 games we've been?
Yeah.
Got a foul ball.
First time in my whole life I've got a foul ball.
Oh, I never have. Me either.
Dude, that's awesome.
That is awesome, man.
What's funny is the ball landed in the empty seats next to him, and they were only empty because the people sitting there just barely left to use the restroom. It's the ball game. 1-0, but we got a foul ball.
We're still leaving victorious.
Was it worth the $200 for this seat?
Made it easier to swallow.
Today we're going to the Vikings game, but first, a little pit stop at the Mississippi River. Okay, we're here at Mill Ruins State Park or whatever, and this is where the Stone Bridge is and where some of the early flour mills were that kind of built up Minneapolis. Minneapolis was once the flour milling capital of the world. How exciting is that? This historic district preserves the remnants and history of several of those mills. All right, that sign back there said these are the only natural waterfalls on the Mississippi River, which is kind of crazy. They don't look natural today, of course. They've been modified. They had to do some stuff there, but it was a natural waterfall, which is why all the mills were built here along the river. We're walking on the Stone Arch Bridge, which spans the river and is a popular recreation spot. It was built in 1883 by none other than James Hill. We've arrived at the purpose of our trip. About 5 years ago, we decided we wanted to do a guys trip every year to a new NFL city with the goal of visiting all the stadiums in the league. We've been to Cleveland, Baltimore, Dallas, and now Minnesota. For each game, we wear our favorite team's jerseys, for which we get many very strange looks. But when we explain why we are there, our critics are usually envious. It's been a fun way to experience and learn about different places in America. Minnesota is Midwest nice and content with the status quo. One lady told us, "We'll make the playoffs, then we'll lose." The stadium is the nicest we've been to so far. Its design is much more interesting than Jerry World in Dallas. The roof inside is transparent, allowing natural light inside. The prior stadium collapsed under a snowstorm, so this one is designed for the snow to slope off easier. It has the largest pivoting glass doors in the world, which allow airflow through the stadium. One of our favorite things was the Skol chant. This plays on the Viking theme, as does the Legacy ship outside. This is a 160-foot long Norse ship to walk through and take photos before the game. That was brutal.
Yeah, that was a roller coaster game if ever there was.
Yes, it was. If you like this, check out our Washington, D.C. and Baltimore trip or our Dallas trip. Thanks for watching.